Good morning, everybody. Today is June 28th, 2023, and this is our Mastermind Mastery meeting. Today, we're going to talk about the topic of courage and how it plays a crucial role in our lives, no matter the circumstances. What we'll do is we'll explore the importance of not conforming simply for acceptance, the significance of following our dreams, and overcoming fear. We will also discuss the 6 common fears that often hinder our success. What are these fears? The fear of opinions, the fear of failure, the fear of the past limiting our future, the fear of taking action, the fear of success, and the fear of being alone. So let's get started. See, ladies and gentlemen, we live in a world that often pressures us to conform and seek acceptance. Specifically within the framework of what we do, we are entrepreneurs. We are people who believe that owning a business and running a business makes more sense than being an employee. We live in a world where we're told the reverse. The world says, go to school, get a good education, get a good job. But we know that that doesn't work for people who want to be truly free, make a lot of money, and chart the course of their own destiny. However, even though that might be our dream, it takes courage to stay true to ourselves and our dreams. Many people, unfortunately, fall into the trap of living their lives based on others' expectations rather than following their own Following their own passions and aspirations. But we all know true fulfillment comes from embracing who we are and pursuing what truly makes us live, pursuing our dreams, that which sets our hearts on fire. You know, many years ago, I heard something that has stuck with me since, and that is life is not a dress rehearsal. Life is the real deal. We only get to do this once. When I heard that, I'm like, that makes so much sense. If life is truly not a dress rehearsal, and it isn't, if life is truly the real deal, and it is, why should anyone, me, you, or anybody else, settle for mediocrity? Why should we settle for less? However, when I came to that realization, I understood that it takes courage to step outside of my comfort zone. It takes courage for anybody to step out of their comfort zones. It takes courage to take risks. It takes courage to pursue dreams. But as we do that, we must overcome the fear of failure and recognize that every failure is a stepping stone towards success. Let me say that again. Every failure is a stepping stone towards success. Those of you who listen to any sort of self-development, anything, have probably heard the term, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, which is absolutely true. No matter what it is you want, if you don't take the shot, you're guaranteed to miss it. So now let's explore the 6 fears that often hold us back from achieving our full potential. The 6 fears that hold us back from experiencing true success. The first fear, folks, is the fear of opinions. And I suggest you write these things down, read them later on. Because if you write these things down, read them later on, and apply them to your life, you will develop what can be considered superpowers when it comes to winning the mind game and thereby winning the game of life. So anyway, the first fear is the fear of opinions. Too often, we allow the judgments and opinions of others to dictate our choices and limit our actions. But we must remember that it's our own lives to live, and we should prioritize our own happiness and fulfillment. And also, when we think of others' opinions, at the end of the day, if God forbid, if stuff really goes bad, guess what? Others are not going to be there to bail you out. Some will, if you have close family members, close friends, they'll do their best, but ultimately it's up to you. So again, everybody has an opinion, but you should not let the fear of what other people think hold you back. The next fear is the fear of failure. Failure is a natural part of life. And it's through failure that we learn to do what? That we learn to grow. It's also through failure that we learn, period. So we have to embrace failure as a valuable teacher and not let the fear of failure prevent us from taking risks and pursuing our goals. Remember, think about it. If you read books, if you watch biopics or whatever, you will see that some of the greatest success stories in history have been built on a foundation of multiple failures. And I can go into some of those right now, but I don't think it's necessary. But some of the greatest success stories in history have been built on a foundation of multiple failures. So it's normal, it's natural, it's expected that we're going to fail. Doesn't matter who you are, you will fail. But again, every time you fail, if you can get up and try again, you're going to win. There's an anecdote, I don't think it's true, but everybody here has probably heard of the drink 7-Up. 7-Up, the drink. Well, guess what? Somebody said 7-Up simply means fall 6 times and get up 7. So if you fall 6 times, you get up 7 times. So 7-Up. It's the anecdote. I don't think it's true. I don't think that's what the name stands for. But the point is, we are all going to fail. Another failure we all have is the fear of the past limiting our future. Every single person has a past. Why? Because the moment you are alive for 2 seconds, there's at least 1 second of life behind you. Everybody has a past. But a lot of people, I'm talking about adults, I'm talking about people who are aspiring to whatever, they let the fear of the past limit their future. They let the fear of the past hinder their progress. But folks, we must let go of past mistakes. We must let go of past setbacks. We must let go of traumas that hold us back. We have to do that. Because if we live in the past is behind us. We can never, hit the kind of future we desire. Each new day brings an opportunity for a fresh start. Doesn't matter what you went through yesterday. Doesn't matter what you went through this morning. Doesn't matter what you went through 5 minutes ago. Every new minute brings an opportunity for a fresh start. We have the power to shape our future by letting go of the past and focusing on what we want to be ahead of us. We all have that opportunity. Does it mean it's always going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy, but this brings us to the next fear, the fear of taking action. The fear of taking action is very real. For example, in this business, everybody knows the shot that is called every day here is 10-4-1-8-5-3-1. Anybody can do it. Everybody does not do it. Why? Because people get caught up in overthinking and analysis paralysis. People are afraid that they might make the wrong move, talk to the wrong person, whatever. But without action, without action, your dreams remain mere fantasies. Your dreams remain fantasies. You have to take action. We must conquer this fear by taking small steps towards our goals. We need to understand that progress, let me actually slow down and say this properly. We need to understand that progress is more important than perfection. Let me say that again. Progress is more important than perfection. Some of us want perfection, whereas all we need is progress. And progress comes from taking action. A person who takes action is going to achieve more than a person who does not. Another fear people have, and this fear might sound counterintuitive, but it's a real fear that many people experience on a regular basis. And that is the fear of success. People are scared of being successful. Why? Because some people believe that the new challenges and responsibilities that come with success take them out of their comfort zone. And this intimidates them. But if you're listening to the sound of my voice, I want you to know we must embrace success and all that success brings. Each and every single one of us deserves to shine and make a positive impact in the world. You were not born to be mediocre. You were not born to be average and ordinary. You were not born to just be another name on the roll of life. You were born to do great things. So don't let the fear of success scare you. Don't let your comfort zone keep you, where you are, especially if where you are isn't where you want to be. And lastly, when it comes to fears, we have the fear of being alone. Many people fear solitude and being outside the comfort of a group or a social circle. People are like, I want to be accepted. I want to be down. Well, guess what? Eagles fly solo. Pigeons gather together. You go outside anywhere in New York City, for example, you'll hardly ever will you find one pigeon. You go to Union Square or any of the parks. When you see pigeons, you see like 20 of them, maybe at times 50 of them. But if you're looking for eagles, you're going to find one. Why? Because it's in solitude that we discover our true selves and cultivate self-awareness and personal growth. Embracing moments of solitude on our journey to success allows us to tap into our inner strength and find clarity in our dreams and aspirations. And I'm not saying solitude that you have to go sit down in a room by yourself with the lights off. I mean solitude when you're with people of like minds. So please understand, courage is the key to living a life of purpose and fulfillment. And we want everyone to be able to do that. We want everyone to understand also that in order to fulfill our full potential and create a life that is truly extraordinary, we have to have courage. And courage, folks, is not the absence of fear, but rather the ability to move forward despite whatever fears we may have. So now you might say, okay, that's fine. Okay, I get it. Okay, so fear shouldn't hold me back. I need to have courage. But how do I cultivate courage? How do I get courage? I'm not a naturally courageous person. How do I cultivate courage? Well, there are a few ways, and I'm going to share them with you. The first thing you have to do, very first thing you have to do, is to develop a strong belief in yourself and your abilities. Whose abilities? Yours. Whom should you believe in? Yourself. I'm not saying don't have faith in a higher power. Not saying that at all. But I'm saying ultimately the power you need to win is within you. So develop a strong belief in yourself and your abilities. Recognize that you are capable of achieving great things and trust in your unique talents and strengths. If you don't have those talents and you don't have those strengths, one thing you need to do is verbalize those things, affirm those things to build up self-confidence and a positive self-image. If you don't have a mirror, you have a phone. Look at your phone, look at yourself and say, I am the greatest, I am the best, I am the most amazing person ever to walk this earth. I succeed at everything I do. Everything that I put my hands on is a success. You know, again, if you don't have a mirror, if you have a mirror, look in the mirror and say it. But the point is, you have to make sure that psychologically, you have a positive self-image and self-confidence. Next, you have to surround yourself with a supportive network of individuals who believe in you and your dreams. Like you're listening to this Zoom, so obviously you're listening to this YouTube, wherever it is you are, whether you're live or a replay, you're here to feed your head. You're here to engage in self-development. That's important. You have to surround yourself with people and information that affirms you and your dreams. Of course, having real life people is better, because when you have people who encourage you and uplift you, it makes a world of difference in boosting your courage. It makes a world of difference in boosting your courage. We all have to seek out mentors, friends, and other outlets that share our aspirations and can provide guidance along our journeys. The challenge many of us have is we go find people that are enablers of low pursuits. What do I mean by that? It's very easy for any of us to go find people who tell us that being average and mediocre is okay. Some of us have access to people who will be like, you can take on the world, but we don't want to talk to those people because we fear they're going to hold us accountable. We fear they're going to hold us to a higher standard. And that is the wrong approach, folks. We need to have a supportive network of individuals who believe in us and who affirm us. Next, another way to cultivate courage is to embrace discomfort and step outside our comfort zones regularly. Another way to cultivate courage is to literally become one with discomfort, to become one with being outside our comfort zones. Why? Because growth and progress happen when we challenge ourselves and push past our perceived limits. I know that sounds, again, like what? But yeah, it's true. Growth and progress cannot happen if we don't challenge ourselves. That's why you have people who work jobs for 30 years. They accomplish absolutely nothing. They do the same thing for 30 years. It's like doing the same thing. They have 1 year's experience times 30. They're not pushing themselves. They're not challenging themselves. And then you have people who show up somewhere, and before you know it, they're running the whole place, and then they're leaving that place and opening their own organization and have success. So again, growth and progress happen when we challenge ourselves and push past our perceived limits. Make sure you take calculated risks. Make sure you try new experiences. Make sure you embrace the unknown, because each small step forward builds your resilience and strengthens your courage muscle. What else? You have to practice discipline. You have to practice discipline. You want to have courage, you need to have discipline. Why? Because like I said earlier, in reference to something else, you have not just courage muscle, you also have a discipline muscle. You have, so when you know you have to do something and you're not comfortable with it, but you do it over and over and over and over again, eventually it becomes second nature. And what does this do? This enhances your confidence. This enhances your resilience. So now what was once an obstacle is now nothing. It's like public speaking. The first time you speak in front of a group of people, they might be like, oh my God, I'm nervous, I feel scared, I feel this and that. But with discipline, you speak again and again. Every opportunity you have, you try to speak. Eventually, people are like, wow, that person might sound funny, but what he said or what she said, spot on. What else? You have to develop a growth mindset. You must develop a growth mindset. You have to fall in love with the idea that failures and setbacks are opportunities for learning and growth. I heard someone say ages ago that every setback is a setup for a comeback. You have to know that that is true. As you develop courage, you must have a growth mindset. Embrace the idea that failures and setbacks are opportunities for learning and growth. Adopt a perspective that sees challenges as stepping stones to success rather than roadblocks. Let's say your goal is 10 for, not, let's say if you're working with me, your daily goal should be 10 for 1, 8, 5, 3, 1. Which means you set 10 appointments, 4 people show, 1 comes on board. That 1 leads to 8 training appointments, 5 hold, we become clients, 1 joins the business. But the challenge is on the path to setting those 10, you might get 20 no's, you might get 30 no's, you might get 50 no's. I don't know your numbers, I don't know your ratios. But whatever the ratio is, you have to look at every no as a stepping stone to success. Not just as a stepping stone to a yes, as a stepping stone to success, because eventually you will have a business full of excited, motivated people who are looking to win and who listen and do the work required. So by understanding and acknowledging that you have a growth mindset, psychologically, you will be able to more easily persevere in the face of adversity and maintain your courage. You have to acknowledge you have a growth mindset. Look, I'm getting to the next level. It's like somebody going to climbing Mount Everest. Nobody has ever climbed Mount Everest in one shot, which is they start at the base of Mount Everest in the morning and they keep climbing, and by nightfall, whenever they're at the peak of Mount Everest, it's never happened. They have steps. They climb. I've never climbed Mount Everest. I have no desire to climb Mount Everest. So I'm not speaking from experience or aspirationally. I'm just saying. So they climb to whatever base camp, and their names, I can't remember what the camps are called. They climb to the first base camp, they rest, they regroup, then they climb to the next base camp, they rest, then they regroup, and they keep on going until it's finally time to scale the summit. And then they scale the summit. But the thing is, even as they're climbing to those base camps, there's a lot of adversity. A lot of people actually die in the process. And because, and this is a fun fact, and I think I've mentioned this before, because nobody's going to take those who die on Mount Everest back down to ground level, they simply leave their bodies on the mountain. So now some of those dead bodies are literally used as markers. So it's like when you're halfway through to base camp X, you'll see guy in a blue jacket. Guy in blue jacket is a dead person in a blue jacket by the side of the road. But the point is, nobody goes to Mount Everest to die. Everybody goes to Mount Everest to get to the top. Unfortunately, things happen. Thankfully, in this business, nobody's dying because we're not taking risks that involve life or death. But we must embrace a growth mindset. We must embrace that there are certain things we have to aspire to. There are certain things we need to accomplish in order to get to where we're going. And lastly, in order to get courage, we have to practice mindfulness and self-reflection. What the heck does that mean, you might be asking? Take time to connect with your inner thoughts and emotions. Identify any fears or limiting beliefs that may be holding you back. Write them out if need be. If you don't know how to overcome them, ask me or ask somebody else that you consider a mentor. Ask somebody that can help you. That, okay, this is holding me back. I don't do this. I don't know why. I can't do this. I don't know why. Let them show you the way, and they will. Because by understanding and acknowledging your fears and limiting beliefs, you can do what? You can work on releasing and reframing them, allowing courage to take their place. So let's say this is an what are it called? Airports. Let's say airport is your mind. The airport is literally your mind. Within your mind, you have what? You can have two things. You can have fear and you can have faith. Most people have fear and faith. Your goal is to replace fear with faith, because you want to work based on faith. Fear and faith cannot coexist. You cannot be scared and, like we said earlier, and still accomplish what you want to accomplish. You have to overcome that fear. So again, when you practice mindfulness and self-reflection, you identify the thoughts that are holding you back so that you can do what? So that you can remove them, which is remove the AirPods, and replace them with those things that will help you win, which is courage. That's just how it works. So anyway, in summary, courage is not something reserved for a select few. Every single one of us has access to courage. It's a quality that we can all cultivate by believing in ourselves, surrounding ourselves with support, stepping out of our comfort zones, practicing discipline, adopting a growth mindset, and embracing mindfulness. We can develop unwavering courage in many circumstances. Remember, life is not a dress rehearsal. It's time for every single person listening to the sound of my voice to step into the spotlight of living your best life. It's time for everybody here to conquer their fears and create the extraordinary life they deserve. Thank you for joining us with our M3 or on our M3, whether you're live or you're listening to this on YouTube later on. We would love to hear what you have to say in the comment section. Obviously, like, share, and what have you. And God bless you, God bless Team Alpha, and of course, God bless America and the whole wide world, since now we're on YouTube and everybody all